If you are a UK service-based business owner who's been undercharging for your services, feeling like you're working harder but not taking home any more money, then this video is going to change everything for you. I'm Annette Ferguson, Chartered Accountant, Certified Profit First Professional and Small Business Financial Strategist. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to transform your pricing strategy this quarter so you can finally take home the profit that you deserve. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear step-by-step framework that you can implement immediately to increase your prices without losing clients. And I'll share the 3 biggest pricing mistakes I see UK service-based businesses make that are literally costing them thousands of pounds every single month. So if you're ready to stop leaving money on the table and start building a truly profitable business, then let's dive in. Now, before we get into the meat of today's content, I want you to think about this question. When was the last time you actually reviewed your pricing? Not just thought about it, but really sat down and analyzed whether your prices are working for your business and your profit goals. If you're like most service-based business owners that we work with, it's probably been far too long. Because here's what's happening as a result. You can get stuck in what we call the busy but broke cycle, where you're working more and more hours, taking on more and more clients, but your bank account isn't reflecting all that hard work. And the truth is, ultimately, pricing isn't just about covering your costs and adding a little bit on the top. Your pricing strategy is one of the most powerful profit levers that you have in your business. So getting that right can dramatically increase your take-home pay without you having to work more hours. Getting it wrong and you'll find yourself trapped in a cycle of overwork and under-earning. So today I am sharing with you the exact framework that we use with clients to transform pricing strategies. And this isn't just theory. It's the same approach that has helped one of my clients increase their average project value by 40% in just 8 weeks, and another client double their hourly rate whilst actually attracting better quality clients. So let's start with the foundation of profitable pricing. Can't say that very quickly. The first step in transforming your pricing strategy is understanding your true costs. And I'm not just talking about the obvious ones like maybe a software subscription or your office rent if you've got physical premises. I'm talking about the hidden costs that most service business owners completely overlook when they're looking at these calculations. So let me give you a real world example. Sarah runs a marketing consulting here in the UK, and she thought she understood her costs. She had her office rent, software, professional insurance, all those typical things. But when we did a proper cost analysis, we discovered that she was missing over £800 a month in hidden costs. Things like the time she spent on admin, the costs of her professional development, and even depreciation on her laptop and other equipment weren't being factored in properly into her pricing calculations. So here's what you need to calculate. First, you need to know your direct costs. They're the obvious ones that we've mentioned. But secondly, they're your indirect costs. So the costs that you spend on non-billable activities, for example, the depreciation of equipment that we've mentioned, and things like personal development and other costs that you have. And the third, which again, many people don't take into account, is the opportunity cost. What could you be earning if you weren't spending time on these lower value activities or underpaying clients? So here is the critical part. Most business owners don't get this bit because they calculate costs based on the current situation and not your desired situation. So if you want to take home £5,000 a month, you need to work backwards from that goal and not work forwards from your current costs. And this is also where profit first methodology becomes really crucial. Because instead of using that traditional formula, sales minus expenses equals profit, we flip the script and we say sales minus profit equals expenses. And that means your profit becomes the non-negotiable part of your pricing strategy. And most business owners, when they are looking at pricing and they are quoting prices, that is the part that shifts and moves, particularly if there's any pushback on price. So your homework after this video is to calculate your true monthly costs, including an allocation for profit. And don't forget tax either, another critical one in pricing that is often forgotten about. Because until you know what you actually need to charge to be profitable, then you're just guessing with pricing. And that's what we see all the time. So now that you know your true costs, you've gone and worked that out, maybe even pause the video to do that. Let's talk about the biggest game changer in service business pricing, shifting from a cost plus pricing model to a value-based pricing model. Now, you maybe haven't heard either of these terminologies before, but let me explain. Cost plus pricing is what many service businesses start with at the very least. And that's where you calculate your costs, you add a bit of a margin, and that's the price that you then charge, whether that's an hourly rate or a day rate, or whether you use that to calculate a project price. The problem is with this approach, it completely ignores the value you create for clients. And when you ignore the value, you start commoditizing your services. Now, value-based pricing, on the other hand, is about pricing based on the outcomes and the results you deliver for your clients. So let me share another client story to illustrate this. James runs an IT consultancy, and he was charging £75 per hour for his services, and he works 50 hours a week, and he was barely making ends meet. And when we analyzed the value he was creating for his clients, we discovered that the security implementations were saving his clients on average £15,000 a year in potential breach costs and downtime. So instead of charging by the hour, we advised James to restructure his pricing to reflect the value that he provides. And he moved then to charge £3,000 for a comprehensive security audit and implementation. Work that used to take him about 20 hours at £75 an hour, giving him about £1,500. So same work, double the revenue, and his clients are happier because they understand exactly what they're getting and why it's worth that investment. They can see that direct link because that's communicated to them. So here's how to make that shift in your business to value-based pricing. First of all, you need to identify the specific outcomes that your service delivers. Don't just think about what you do, think about what you change for your clients or customers as a result of working with you. Secondly, quantify those outcomes wherever you possibly can. And this can be difficult, but do you save them time? Do you save them money? Do you help them make more revenue? Can you put a number on these benefits that they end up receiving? And thirdly, and this is crucial, have conversations with your existing clients about the value they have received. Ask them directly, what was working with me? What has that meant for your business? What have the results of that been? And you might just be surprised and maybe even amazed by the insights that you get from this discussion. These can become the foundation for your value-based pricing conversations and positioning. Because the key to value-based pricing is understanding that clients don't buy your time. They don't want 4 hours of you. They want X outcome. So transitioning your pricing into that being what they buy the transformation you provide, is the best way to go about this. And when you can clearly articulate and demonstrate the transformation, then pricing becomes much less of an issue. Now, knowing that you should increase your prices and actually doing it are two different things. I get it, it's scary. And this is where most service-based business owners get stuck because they know they're undercharging, but they're terrified of losing clients and not be able to find new ones at the higher prices. I get it, I've been there. But let me share some strategic implementation plans that we've used with clients in the past to increase prices without losing business. And this system works. People have gone through this system, but it does require you to be strategic and it requires you to be patient. So first is to implement what we call the 3-tier strategy. You're going to have different pricing approaches for 3 different groups: existing clients, new clients, and premium clients. So for your existing clients, you don't just send an email saying my prices are going up. Instead, you need to have a conversation about the increased value you're going to provide. Maybe you've gained a new qualification, which will positively impact them. Perhaps you're offering additional services, or maybe you're simply being more strategic about the outcomes you deliver. Give them 60 to 90 days notice and position it as an investment in a better service delivery. Now, for new clients, you can implement your new pricing immediately. This is where you can actually start testing your value-based pricing approaches. And if you're nervous about this, you can start with a smaller increase, maybe 20% or 30%, rather than doubling straight away overnight. And you can always increase that further once you build up your confidence. And then you've got your premium client bucket. And this is where you create a high value offering that is charged at a premium price. And this might be a comprehensive package or a done with you service or access to you more for kind of strategic consultancy or something beyond the kind of technicals of what you deliver for your customers and clients. And then the next stage is building your confidence through what we call proof stacking. So documenting every success story, every positive outcome, every piece of feedback that you receive, and creating a portfolio of results that you can reference when you're having pricing conversations. When you can confidently say, here's what happened when I worked with a client in a similar situation, then all these conversations become much, much easier with your prospective client. And third, practicing your pricing conversations. I am serious about this. If you need to do that in the mirror, practice with a friend, practice with a fellow business owner, practice so that you can talk about your prices without having to apologize for them or justify them. Your energy around your pricing is contagious. And if you are not confident in your pricing and your value, your prospects will feel that and they won't be either. So here's the timeline that we recommend people. Week 1, complete the cost analysis and the value assessment. And week 2, have conversations with those existing clients about the value you're providing. Week 3, develop that new pricing structure and practice those conversations. And week 4, start implementing with your new prospects and giving your existing clients notice of the change. So the key here is that you want to be systematic about this. Just don't wake up one day and decide to double your prices. I don't want you going away from this video and just sending out that email without actually planning this through fully. Plan, prepare, and then execute strategically. But before we wrap up today, I want to share with you the 3 biggest pricing mistakes I see UK service business owners making, because avoiding these mistakes is just as important as implementing a new pricing strategy. Mistake number 1, competing on price. I am sure if you have been around the business world for any length of time, you have heard this time and time again. Competing on price is the fastest way to destroy your profit margins and attract the wrong type of client. When you compete on price, you're essentially telling the market the only thing that differentiates you from all the competition out there is you being cheaper. And I promise you, someone else will come along and be even cheaper than you. It attracts price sensitive clients who leave the second they find someone cheaper, and they will always have one eye looking out for exactly that. Instead, compete on value, outcomes, and expertise. Position yourself as a premium option in your market and attract clients who value the quality that you provide over the cost. Mistake number 2, not raising prices regularly. Your costs go up every single year. With inflation, we have software price increases coming out our ears, professional development you need to keep up with, equipment replacements, which also increase every year. If you are not raising prices annually, then you are effectively giving yourself a pay cut. Therefore, review your pricing every 6 months and implement increases annually as a minimum. This keeps your pricing in line with your costs, inflation, and the market conditions. And mistake number 3, undervaluing your expertise. You know so much that you sometimes probably forget that your customers and clients, they don't know half of what you know. When we are using our knowledge, it can be really easy to forget quite how knowledgeable we are. It's so common with experienced service providers who think that something is easy for them, and they've therefore kind of are on the side of, well, this can be cheap for my client. But your expertise is exactly why the clients should pay you more and not less. The fact that you can solve something in 2 hours, which would take the clients 2 weeks, is no reason to charge a tiny amount. It's a reason to charge more. You're not just selling your time, remember, you're selling your years of expertise, knowledge, and experience. So remember, your clients aren't paying for the time that it takes you to do the work. They're paying for the years that you've put in to get to this point where you can do the work quickly and effectively. So let's recap what we've covered today. First, you need to know the true costs, including your profit allocation using the profit first methodology. Secondly, you need to shift from cost plus to value-based pricing, focusing on the outcomes that you deliver. And thirdly, implementing strategically using that 3-tiered approach for existing clients, new clients, and premium offerings. And finally, avoiding those 3 big mistakes that we spoke about: competing on price, it's a race to the bottom; not raising prices regularly, you're just cutting the money for yourself; and undervaluing your expertise. Remember, they are not paying for the time that you are putting in. So here's what I want you to do this week. Complete that true cost analysis that we spoke about, including your desired profit allocation. Have at least one conversation with an existing client about the value you've provided to them. Start documenting your success stories and outcomes for future pricing conversations. Now, if you're watching and thinking, Annette, this all makes sense, but I need help implementing this for my specific business, then I have something for you. I'm offering you a completely free financial health check where we can analyze your current financial situation and create a personalized action plan to improve your profitability. This isn't a sales call, it's a genuine assessment, and I will walk you through specific actionable insights into your business finances, including your pricing strategy. You can book that free assessment by clicking the link in the description below. And if you have found this video helpful, please do make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And we also have a free online community on Facebook, Profit First UK. So I will also put the link in the description to this video for that as well. And there you can connect with other business owners who are on the same journey to build a more profitable business. Before you go, though, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to pricing your services? Is it knowing what to charge? Is it having the confidence to charge it? Or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments below and I will make sure to address your specific challenge in future videos. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know your time is incredibly precious, so I really do appreciate you spending some of that with me. And remember, profit isn't what's left over, it's what you plan for. Speak soon.